This movie squeezes 2 years of work into 18 seconds. We're looking at Riverside's new Central Library. It's a $40 million production, and it all started with this image. Thousands of people worked together to make this concept a physical building. Framers, concrete mixers, roofers, fireproofers, delivery drivers, each working in tandem to finish on time and under budget. Projects like this are immensely challenging in the best circumstances. 2020 was not that.
You're talking about a city telling businesses they have to close. I'd be shocked if that's ever happened in the history of the city.
Despite the pandemic, library construction is still on track. So how do you take the idea of a building and make it real?
Architects don't build buildings, we make drawings. So we have to communicate how to build this three-dimensional thing. It's a ton of coordination.
That's Kevin Garrity, Johnson Favreau's team lead for construction administration of the Riverside Library. His job is to be the architect team's eyes in the field, ensuring that the dozens of subcontractors on the project place steel, pour concrete, and lace utilities throughout the building in accordance with the design documents.
We always have an idea, but we really don't know anything about it till we begin drawing it. Through drawing, we learn about our realistic parameters.
Libraries are heavy. The dead load of books is a significant factor in the structural design. You have to work with building systems like mechanical, HVAC, ducting, and you have to work with lighting. A lot of things go on in a ceiling that just remain hidden from view.
Details have to be drawn, because if you don't draw the details, then the concept won't get built. There are hundreds of people involved in the building of the building, and it all has to be communicated through the drawings. And that just requires a lot of foresight.
For public projects like this, the architect has no say in who actually builds the structure. Contractors submit anonymous bids based on an open call, and the city is required to accept the lowest bid.
From that moment that that's established, every contractor has to do everything in their power to stay on schedule. Every minute that they rent a trailer, every moment or hour or week that they employ a crew is money out of that value that they gave to the project at the time of that competitive bid. So they're under an enormous amount of pressure.
And it's a risky endeavor for them, and so we work hard to help the builder as much as possible.
For the first several months, construction focused on the building's massive foundation and concrete cores, a process which culminated in an assembly line of 40 trucks, pouring load after load of concrete into formwork filled with reinforcing steel.
We were lucky to have that because once the pandemic started, materials started to get scarce. Concrete, in particular, has entered into a shortage right now because concrete plants are operating at 8 hours a day when usually they operate at 24 hours a day.
That if you didn't hit those moments when the pour was scheduled, if you didn't hit that right at the moment, you'd lose your queue in line and you might be 6 weeks delayed.
As an essential service, construction has continued during the pandemic with modified rules for workplace safety. But COVID's effects on the supply chain were harder to navigate.
It's all about just foresight and planning. It's really logistics, and that's what's in the news with every aspect of our life. You know, how we get our groceries, how we get any materials. It's just magnified by hundreds when you get to a construction site because it's all about the procurement and delivery and installation of thousands of materials.
This project has bulldozed through pretty much any sort of issue. The contractors on site joke around, how much more can this project go through? We've developed a really good relationship, which is important.
This relationship between contractor and architect is the key to transforming an idea into a physical building. The original library drawings were a promise to the community of Riverside, and construction is the challenging but rewarding process of fulfilling that promise. Work began in March of 2019. After 21 months on the job, we're finally getting close.